Hey, great day to you. Welcome to a tutorial of TrueOps. TrueOps is software that helps Amazon sellers with reimbursements. So there are different discrepancies that happen within the FBA Amazon system, like lost and damaged goods and different changes in the fees, in the FBA fees. And a lot of times we sellers lose money there, and companies such as TrueOps can help us solve it and actually can help us get reimbursements, basically money back to your pocket as a seller. So in this video, we're going to do a tutorial of their tool. We're going to show how it works. We are going to show also a little video clip pretty soon of how to onboard, how the onboarding process works. So it's about 3 minutes, pretty fast, and you will hopefully find value in it. Also, we're going to have a nice offer for TrueOps in the description of the video or on the blog post if you're seeing this on the blog. Basically, the first $1,000 that TrueOps will be able to recover for you will have no commission to them. That means they're not going to charge you a percentage on that amount. And we'll explain the pricing model of TrueOps today. What does it mean that they can charge you money for result only, which is a pretty interesting model, in my opinion, to work with. And yeah, hopefully it's going to be useful for you. All the timestamps for the video are in the description. Today with us, Joe, co-founder of TrueOps. He's going to be sharing his time today with us to help us understand how to make the most out of TrueOps so you, dear seller, can hopefully get the most money back to your pocket and then use it to grow your business or to enjoy your life. It's up to you. It's your money. So Joe, welcome, man. Good day to you.
Thank you.
Good seeing you with us today, man. And yeah, maybe you can share a few words about yourself, man, about TrueOps, and then we'll dive into the tutorial.
Great. Yes. So thank you so much for having me on. So my name is Joel, and I'm one of the co-founders here at TrueOps. I'm a CPA, and I oversee the auditing function of the business. TrueOps has been around for about 2 years now. Just over the past 12 months, we have onboarded over 1,600 sellers representing over 3.6 billion in Amazon revenue, many sellers onboarding from the legacy audit solutions. And we have a lot of differentiators. We have very seller-friendly policies, 10% commission on all reimbursements. We give credit for any reimbursement reversals, which we'll explain a little bit further when we jump into the app. And we only charge for cash reimbursements. Another thing that makes us a little bit different is we're a small team of technology-enabled in-house auditors that you can actually talk to. You can open up support, and within a few minutes, you're talking to the actual person that is working on your account. We've got easy ways to set up delays. So if you want to have your in-house team run first or another auditor run first, we can come behind them and catch what's left behind. And yeah, we're really just about maximizing sellers' refunds. So whether we're doing that fully for you completely or operating as a backup, there's lots of ways to benefit from TrueOps. So yeah.
Pretty awesome, man. So in this case, before I get to my next question, I think it would be a good idea for sellers, now that they understand how you guys can help, we can show a clip of the onboarding process, about 3 minutes. So this can be useful for sellers. It's pretty simple, and please watch it fully. And of course, if you want to scroll and see how the TrueOps looks from the inside, if you want to see the tutorial of how to use it, then just use the timestamps in the video. You are going to find the right timestamp and the right time yourself. So check out the clip now and enjoy.
Hi, Joel from TrueOps here. I'm really proud of our smooth onboarding process that lets you connect your accounts in under 3 minutes. So let me just go ahead and jump into that and show you how it works. So first, you're going to enter in your account details and then click sign up. And then it's going to send a confirmation code to your email address. Once you've entered that in, it's just going to confirm that, and then you'll be able to sign in for the first time. Once you're signed in, it's going to let you connect your accounts. So it's going to just prompt you to enable the TrueOps app here, and then it's just going to take you back for the user permissions. So you're going to be able to just copy and paste the name and email address, and then invite that. That's done. All right, the next step is to add the permissions. So let's take a look here. After we refresh this page, we should be able to manage the permissions. So there we go. And we can just copy and paste from here, use Control F, and that'll enable you to find the permissions that are needed. Like that. And once you've got those all added in, you're just going to click here, and then we're just going to check the permissions. And that should just take a few seconds for the system to confirm that we've got all the permissions added correctly. All right, looks like that is correct. And that's it. That's how you connect an account to TrueOps. Looks like we can do it in less than 3 minutes. And yeah, thank you for your interest. I'm looking forward to working with you soon.
All right, thank you for watching the clip. Hopefully it was easy to understand. If you still have any comments, or actually if you have any questions about the onboarding process, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll make sure to get back to you and help you. And now that you've seen it, we can then show you how TrueOps looks from the inside. After you onboard, you'll see basically the tool, and we're going to show it to you and how it all works and explain to you the process of working with TrueOps now.
Yes, that's great. So yeah, as you saw, our onboarding is just 3 minutes. Great return on your time, just 3 minutes to see what Amazon owes you. And after you onboard, you should see a dashboard like this. So this will be your home screen. So there's a lot going on here. You can see the different types of reimbursements that are credited to your account on a regular basis. This is where you can see those reimbursement reversals that I mentioned earlier. Oftentimes when you get a reimbursement from Amazon, Amazon will later find the units. And so they'll credit your account for that inventory, and then they'll also reverse that cash. We scan for those on a daily basis and automatically credit them back to your account whenever that happens. So you can see these credits getting applied. And yeah, that's where that happens. Every reimbursement is tied back to a case, so you can have the transparency to see what's going on your account. This is your connections area. So if you have multiple connections, you can add them here. You can set up whether you are a brand owner or a reseller right here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the main area where you would be interacting with TrueOps. This is where anything that needs attention is going to pop up, and you can upload a proof of delivery. You can mark as ready. We have the ability to sign packing slips if you're a manufacturer. All you need to do is click this button. You can see the packing slip here, and your signature would get applied right there when you sign that packing slip. You also have the ability to edit the packing slip. So if you know that you short shipped or something, you can change that before you go ahead and submit that to Amazon. And yeah, once everything is ready, then the shipment is ready to go. There's logic built into it, so you're not always going to need everything that's listed here. Like, maybe you might not need a proof of delivery if it's Amazon partner carrier, or you sent it via AWD services. But yeah, so yeah, request the information that's needed. If you don't necessarily need that shipment to be looked at, maybe it's a known canceled shipment or something, you can click archived, because everything that's here on a regular basis, we will be sending you emails to remind you that something's expiring soon and to upload documents. So if you don't want to get those notifications, you can just archive the shipments, which can be great if you are working with a VA or something to delegate this process, that you're getting those notifications so that you know that your account is being served well and all the documents are getting uploaded on time.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, you also mentioned connections before that. In connections,
Yes.
It was connecting marketplaces?
That's right. Yep.
And which marketplaces do you support? There's North America, Europe, is it all of them, or there's any others?
Yep. Yeah, we serve all marketplaces. Yeah, so they'd be able to connect everything there. Even separate brands, if you have a lot of different brands and you want to get them connected, you can do that here. And that's why you're able to select manufacturer versus reseller here, because some people may own a company where they're the brand owner, private label, and then another reseller brand. So yeah.
Awesome. So all marketplaces. And lost inbound, again, it means basically shipments that were sent to Amazon, and Amazon just sometimes loses one unit, sometimes five, sometimes the whole shipment goes. And I had that happen, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? So if I understand correctly, in the lost inbound, we're just going to see all of our shipments, your software, and TrueOps is going to scan this on an ongoing basis.
Yeah.
And then whenever there are discrepancies, we're going to get emails, plus we're going to see it in the lost and inbound kind of dashboard on the left.
Yes.
And also we're going to get email notifications whenever the time of getting back the shipment is about to expire. I think we can share with sellers that it's sometimes with Amazon, they give you a specific amount of time to kind of ask for that money back. And then if we don't, they just like, sorry guys, like that's in their terms of service, which are changing also, man. Maybe you can share something about that. It's actually gonna, we're recording this in beginning of October, and I'll do my best to post it, in a few days. So, because I think on the 23rd is it, man? Like it's
yes. Yeah. So to explain that, we go after all major claim types, not just the ones that are listed here. These are just the ones where we need sellers' input. Now, lost and bound, it is actually a lot more complicated than you might think, because even after a shipment is fully received, it might be received seems like there's no issues, but Amazon can reallocate units from that shipment at any time. Sometimes even up to a year later. We've had a case where there was some units missing on a shipment today, and then they said, oh, like those units are actually just from this shipment like a year ago. And it's like, no, they're not. But what that causes is, sometimes you'll see a shipment where it's like negative 150 units received, right? So unless you're literally downloading your shipments every day and checking that contents page, making sure that it's not changing, then you are missing out. And that's why we've never seen an in-house team able to catch everything, because it's humanly impossible. They could potentially wait until like the 9th month, like the very last day, and then move something from an old shipment. And unless you get it like that day, like it expires. So you do have 9 months, but you have 9 months assuming that Amazon's not changing anything. You have 9 months from the date of receipt, but like if the shipment is fine for like 8 months, but then Amazon breaks it, then all of a sudden you've only got 1 month or 3 days, So it's something to scan regularly. And yes, as you mentioned, like the rules are changing. So for some claim types, the window is going to shrink. The most dramatic difference is lost and damaged warehouse. The investigation window is going down from 18 months to 60 days. And they're also going to start doing reimbursements more proactively for those claim types. That doesn't include FBA fees. That doesn't include lost and bound. So there is still lots to go after manually, but lost and damaged, they are going to go after proactively more often. We've done an analysis of our client list. Many of them are on pilot program where Amazon's trying to do proactive reimbursements. And we're seeing that Amazon is proactively reimbursing about 70% of the time. So there's still going to be opportunity to watch. That's 70%, but that's not necessarily 70% of the dollar value. Like you could easily have 10,000 of units go missing, and just by bad luck, that's the piece that Amazon missed. So it's still going to be good to monitor. It's going to be good to monitor with an honest company with seller friendly policies, because we are measuring how long it takes Amazon to get these things automatically, and we're going to come in after that window. So and that's very important, like to be watching your reimbursement provider, that they're not just like going after it right away, because you might end up charging commissions on reimbursements you're going to get anyway. We're going to come in after that window to catch that 30% that Amazon misses.
Joe, seller friendly, you mean like Amazon laws are getting broken or something? That's what you mean? Like that's everything's done by the rules, if I understand correctly, seller friendly? Or what
yes,
do you mean by
it's seller friendly in a lot of ways. So yeah, of course we adhere to Amazon's terms of service, and we treat all accounts like they're our own. When necessary to like escalate a case, we'll pick up a phone rather than just kind of hit Amazon repeatedly, and we give credits for all reversals with no exceptions. That's actually a unique thing among auditors. A lot of the legacy auditors will only give reimbursement reversals in some situations. We do it in all situations. We also have the ability to set up delays. So I'll show you over here in the claim settings. If you want to use this as a backup, like you can do that easily here from the settings. This is something that TrueOps really pioneered in. Instead of having to like email support and ask them about this, or like have this not really be a prominent thing, like sellers have the power to do this themselves whenever they want. So like If you want to try to have your VA come in and do as much lost and bound as possible, like put us on a 30-day delay or a 60-day delay or whatever. And then we'll come in and gets what's left. And same thing with other claim types. So yeah, seller-friendly policies, it's embedded in everything that we do. We always are looking out for like when those auto reimbursements are happening, like making sure that we're coming in after, not before. It's just managing accounts in a conscientious way, giving the power to sellers.
So I'll remind our viewers, sellers in the description or around the blog, if this video is embedded in the blog, we're going to have a free audit and an offer included in the free audit, which is like $1,000 in free reimbursement. So for the first $1,000 for the test to see if TrueOps can help you or not, they're not going to charge you a percentage. It's 10% afterwards. And free audit means you just see what you can get back, basically, right? So that's pretty cool. It's going to have a link to that in the description. It's going to be an affiliate link. It means that if you ever do business with TrueOps, I'm going to get a little commission from that. No extra cost to you, the seller, but in this way, it's possible to support my free content. I appreciate that a lot. And thank you. So we did the lost inbound, right? Where you explained also, if you may go back to that just for a minute or two, Joe. Here we have all the shipments that we have basically sent, and we have the expiration time. Expiration time is until we can ask for money back, right? For those shipments, if I understand correctly.
That's right. Yep.
Then proof of delivery, POD, is basically either asking, I guess the freight forwarder that you're working with for a proof, which is going to be probably a PDF file that they have shipped and that it was delivered. Usually there's delivered. And if I understand correctly, if I remember correctly, also it says like Amazon received it, if I remember correctly from memory. Or you can archive the shipment if just like feel like you don't need to work on it for different reasons. Or mark ready, I guess just marks it as finished, right? If I understand correctly.
That's right. Yeah. So after you finish like uploading your documents, then you just click mark as ready, and that gives us the go ahead to work on that particular shipment.
And there are the proof of delivery, but sometimes I'm aware there is also proof of purchase. Might not they ask you, hey, have you actually bought these, 1,000, in our case, let's say grill brushes, we sell grill brushes, that's one of our products. Like, have you actually bought? Can they ask basically us for that? But in that case, if we're connected to you, they are going to ask you basically in a way, and you're going to mention to us, we should send POD or proof of purchase or POP. Am I right? Is that something that can happen?
Yeah. So essentially, there's two different paths. Like if you're a brand owner, then we're going to be working with packing slips as your proof of ownership. If you're a reseller, we're going to be asking for invoices. So for a brand owner, it's as simple as like adding your signature to that packing slip, which can be done digitally in the app. If you're a reseller, then this button would say, upload invoice, and then you'd be able to upload it there.
So should we check each shipment if it's asking for the packing slip? Say I'm a private label seller, and do I have to go on each shipment and just kind of just check? Or will I, within my free audit, let's say, within the free audit, I guess we'll see everything, but in the continuous process after we have cleared all the free audit and have gotten results, we're sending new shipments, like, boom, we have a shipment with discrepancies. Will we see that we need to add these files somewhere?
Yeah, so you can, in the dashboard, everything you need will be here. And you can sign them one at a time. So let me just remove signature here. So you can see this is the signed packing slip button, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you don't want to have to do it one at a time, you can set up for auto sign, which this demo account is. So instead of having to click sign packing slip every time, it'll automatically sign them for you, which you can do if you know that you never short ship or whatever. You can do that. And then if you have auto sign enabled and then you know about a short shipment, you can always go in and remove signature from a particular one or archive it.
Or add the amount of units there, right? If let's say we've sent, the shipment was 200 units, we actually know and let's say two boxes of 100 units each, we only sent one box and we're aware of it.
Yeah.
And so we'll just have to kind of say what truly is the right amount.
That's right. Yes, that's where it comes in handy to have that edit feature so that you can adjust that.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for explaining, man. Cool. So that's the lost inbound. Pretty cool. I mean, hopefully it's clear for sellers. If anyone has any more questions, of course, feel free to drop comments. We'll get it back to you. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we've got, FBA fees here. So you can upload your dimensions, and that helps us keep Amazon accountable for those dimensions. So there's a template that you can download and then basically just upload this information. And then once we have this on hand, we are just going to be scanning Amazon on a regular basis to make sure, this length doesn't turn into 20 overnight.
Yeah, maybe if sellers maybe sellers are aware, but sometimes what happens is, we have a product selling. It has let's take this as an example, 8.6 on 5.16 on 4.6. That's the dimensions. We're selling. Life is good. Cash is flowing. Hopefully, I know that we're making nice margins. And then for 2 weeks, we didn't even see that maybe. That's what happened to me in the past. Sometimes I just woke up and only after a few days, that's been 2018, maybe before all these tools. Yeah. And you just see that instead of 8.6, it's now on 10.6, and it changes the category of fees that were being charged. So let's say instead of being charged, let's say $4 on my grow brush, I would get charged $7 on a span of 2 weeks. Maybe let's say making 1,000 sales. Do the calculations. That extra, what was that? What did I say? It was $4,000 to $3,000. And just boom, yeah, and that's from experience, to be honest. So
yeah, it's definitely really important to watch this. So when this information gets uploaded into our system, then on our back end, our auditors are alerted anytime that Amazon changes the dimensions and it results in an unfavorable fee difference. If the dimensions are lower and the fee difference is favorable, then maybe we'll just be like, okay, all right. But if it's unfavorable, we will raise that case and get those measurements put back to the way they should be.
So you're also going to edit it within our account, right? So not only giving back the money maybe for the lost period, right? You're also going to adjust it back to what we've uploaded here, if I understand correctly, right?
Well, what you upload here doesn't change. This is kind of the source of truth for measurements. What we do is we would file a case with Amazon, request them to remeasure the product, and then the product measurements will change on Amazon's side. And so they'll be brought back to match what it should be here. And
so eventually Amazon changes it.
Yeah, you'll get a refund for all the mistakes from the past, and then also preventing future issues down the road because it'll be back to the measurements that should be.
Got it. Joel, I also see here dangerous goods, apparel, lithium-ion battery, TVs. Yeah. Just maybe ask for which reason these are specific or rigid container, because these tend to have specific problems connected to them.
Yeah. So anything that Amazon can mess up, they will mess up. If your product is not a dangerous good, we just watch to make sure they don't just randomly change it to a dangerous good. Okay. These are all of the different classifications that can modify your fulfillment fee. Like apparel has a different fulfillment fee, battery ones have a different fulfillment fee. So, at any time, any of these attributes could flip. I wouldn't even put it past them to accidentally classify your brush as a TV. It could happen, if there can be a negative shipment. Like I've seen a lost inbound shipment where it was negative 150 units. And they said it's counted and confirmed, right? So you got your antimatter shipment, right? Yeah. If they can do that, then a brush can be a TV, Yeah. So we watch, and if these change, then we file cases.
So, but what would you recommend to sellers? Should we log in daily into TrueOps? Should we just be on the watch for those emails? Should we look at this? Yeah. What do you think in this case? How would you?
Yeah, from the seller's perspective, you will get emails if there's any action necessary. So you could potentially just do it that way. If you want it to be more proactive, you could potentially log in and just check the lost inbound section. But again, we will let you know if there's anything needed there. If you are a private label seller and you're normally shipping via Amazon partner carrier, there's going to be very little interaction that's even necessary, because Amazon partner carrier, you don't need a proof of delivery most of the time, and private label, you just have those packing slips, which you could potentially set up for auto sign. So then all of a sudden, like it's a fully hands-off process.
Got it, man. Thank you for sharing. So that's for the fees part, right? Unless we have, I guess we covered it fully, right?
Yeah, so yeah, we can jump into the settings here. So you can add different contacts. So these are the people that are going to get reached out to for documentation. We just use Stripe billing, nothing super interesting there. Claim settings. So, this is where you can set up delays. So we can wait after the date of eligibility for a certain amount of time. So, say if a shipment becomes eligible for investigation today, then we will wait X amount of days before filing the case. This is where you can set up users. So like you can set up, different people in the company to get notified if there's any documents that are needed or they're able to log in and make changes. That's it for the settings area.
And Joel, with the billing, when do we pay? Let's say we got reimbursed, right? We connect our, basically, we connect a credit card. We pay through Stripe, right? We basically just need a credit card. What happens? Let's say we have gotten reimbursed $1,000 for different discrepancies. And let's say 2,000 for the first $1,000, sellers can get 3,000 just to try out. So the offer is plugged in the description or even the top comment. We can put it there as well.
Yeah.
First 1,000, okay, just free for us. Pretty cool offer. Thank you for that. The second 1,000, though, fair enough. We have to pay you a fee so you can run your company, right? And so this all makes sense, which I think is fair. So when do we pay that to you?
Yeah, so we only charge commission after the reimbursement is won and credited to your account. And then we charge on a monthly basis. So for the commissions that were earned in that month, you'll get charged every 30 days, basically.
But first, the money hits our account, right?
Right.
We get basically a payment from Amazon, a salary from Amazon, what I call, every 2 weeks, or for those who are, some people have it, I guess, daily payouts, but I don't know. I don't have such an account, but whatever that is, right? We get paid.
Yeah.
Once we get paid for that month, then only automatically your company will bill us. Let's say, I guess, if you were able to reimburse that 2,000 for us. Okay, let's take another case. You reimbursed 10,000 after all these credits we've finished, right? The first 1,000 free. Awesome. Then let's say you help us get 10K back. We get it back from Amazon. Amazon pays us, and then you will bill us $1,000 once we have the 10,000 on our hands. So basically, we only get charged when we have the money in our hands.
Yeah.
And if in the future, I think you've mentioned what you do with TrueOps, if we get that not reverse reimbursement, what was that like?
Right.
Or what is that? That's the term, right? So that means like we got reimbursed, but then Amazon found the units maybe, right? Or something like that. And then they say like, hey, sorry, guys, we did give you the money, but it seems like it was a mistake. Now we take it back. So what happens in this case with TrueOps? Like, how do you handle this one?
Yeah. So anytime that Amazon claws back money or reverses reimbursements that we have won on your behalf, then we will credit you the commission. So say if, we won you $1,000, we charge you that 10% commission. If Amazon takes that $1,000 from you, then we will give you your $100 back that you paid in commission. And we're automatically scanning for that, as I showed on the homepage. And it happens all the time, like if you're using a reimbursement solution that doesn't give you reversals, then you should stop. Because it's similar to all these things. It's random chance, right? Like I've seen cases where there's a reversal of tens of thousands of dollars, and if you're paying, a 25% commission on that and it gets reversed, but it doesn't get credit either because there's a policy exclusion for it or the company just doesn't do reversals at all, then you're paying commission for something you're not getting cash for. So yeah, it's really important to make sure that the company you're using gives you credit for all reversals.
Joe, well, thank you for sharing that. It does make sense, man. But for how long, like, is there like with TrueOps, like, say again, as you mentioned, maybe I think we did discuss it before, like, let's say 6 months from now, this happens. Is there a cap for, because, or you're just, 2 years from now or whatever, like, as long as it happened, then.
Yeah, there's no cap. As long as you're connected to TrueOps and like we can see, then we will give credit.
Yeah.
If it's like,
okay, makes sense.
Even if it's 5 years down the road or whatever, we will do that. So
fair.
Like even if you decide to like bring the process in house or whatever, and you want to take a break from using TrueOps, if you leave your account connected, and we won't do claims, but we can just scan for those reversals and just make sure you're getting credit back. That's something that we can do.
So it's free to join. And for example, if a seller is like, yeah, it's nice, like, and I want to take a little break, is there any charges on that, or is it free to join or free to quit? If in any
no
case?
charges on that. In fact, like, because reversals happen like, maybe about like 5 or 10% of the time, right? So like if you paused from using TrueOps theoretically for a month, we'd probably end up paying you. You know what I mean? Because like some of those reversals will trickle in, right? So yeah, it would end up being a credit on your account. So yeah, it's totally free. If there's no reimbursements, then there's no charge.
Awesome. So we did go through the settings, I believe. We have different users we can assign, like virtual assistants, I believe, right? We can add our credit card. Yeah, I guess that's the settings pretty much here. And there's the next one is support.
Yeah, so this is, it's very simple, but essentially you're able to open up a window and talk to people that actually are working on your account. So you can resolve issues very quickly, faster than any other solution on the market that I'm aware of. Because our audit team is in-house, we don't have to have this like customer support function that's like, maybe based in North America, but then when you want to ask a question that relates to your auditor, it has to go all the way overseas, to the Philippines, if you want to get an answer. We don't have that. It's all integrated. So you're actually talking to the person that's working on your account. Yeah, it just resolves issues a lot more efficiently and effectively.
Sergio, here, because I've seen that with different companies, sometimes there's a bot here, which is fine, I guess. Yeah. But do we speak with a bot for basics, or it's just straight away goes to real people that can help us?
Straight to a human. Yep. And right now in my time zone, it's very early in the morning, so like 6 a.m. ish. So like they're not in business hours yet, but once they're back online, looks like they'll be back in 30 minutes. Like normal business hours, like maybe like 8 to 5 or whatever. Yeah, you can talk to anybody that's been working on your account. So yeah.
So here we can ask any question, like maybe if we didn't understand anything, or we have any question, I guess, about the TrueOps, or if we need any, I guess, consulting with our reimbursements, maybe, I don't know, maybe if we have maybe already an open case with Amazon. By the way, that can be interesting. Maybe someone has an open case with Amazon and they're like, I don't understand how to do that. I mean, I've been there. I used to do kind of the cases on my own. That used to take quite a lot of time, and some of them I was able to actually solve, some not really. And let's say someone is in the process of a case and they join TrueOps. Will you help with that case too? Just like a question that popped up.
Only by request. We have anti-collision detection in our system. So like if you have a case already created for something, then we are not going to touch it by default, so that sellers, can have autonomy over their own cases. But like if, you're in a case and you're just, Amazon gets you to the point where you're ready to throw in the towel, which they do. Then you can just open up a chat here and just be like, hey, like, this case, like they have broken my spirit, and go ahead and try to win it for me. And then we'll jump in and get that done for you.
Fair enough. I'll remind our viewers, listeners, we have the best offer for TrueOps in the description, like $1,000 in free reimbursements plus a free audit. So you can see if Amazon owes you anything, and if it does, then you can work with the guys and they'll help you. And for the first $1,000 that they will be able to get back to you, there's no percentage on that money. Afterwards is 10%. So yeah, we went through the support section. Basically, there's some articles. I guess you're, inputting more and more articles there for people to read stuff, which also helps. Sometimes before we even write a message to the support, sometimes there's an article that just has the great answer for us to check. So I think that's good that you have this part as well. We've mentioned also there's perks and back office, but back office, maybe if the viewers are like, what's the back office? Back office, I understand, is because you're the admin here and that's like a demo account. It's just more, it's not really, so users are not going to see that basically, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
But perks, can you explain about perks a little bit?
Yeah, so the perks, because we have a large list of clients now, we go around to different softwares and services that would be beneficial for sellers. And we say, hey, like, we can get your offer in front of our list of clients. Like what can you offer them? Discounts, credits, stuff like that. So once you join as a client as TrueOps, you'll have access to those perks. Can't necessarily share them before you're a client because they're meant for clients only. Yep. But it's a growing list and we're working on growing it every day. But our goal is to kind of build this list of perks that we can make available to our client list so that they end up saving even more money working with us. So, yeah.
Yeah. So pretty much we went through, I guess, all the parts here: home, connections, lost inbound, FBA fees, settings, support, and perks, as you mentioned. Just like, because you have a big partnership network, you can offer different good offers from those companies to your users, and then everyone can kind of save more money maybe, or get good services. So that's a good idea, I think. Anything else, Joe, that I should have asked you and have not, or something we haven't discussed in this video? I'll remind our viewers, we have the comment section to ask anything. We're always glad to answer, and we will. And we have the offer for TrueOps in the description, also a link with $1,000 off and free reimbursements. But anything we should have maybe mentioned and we still have not gone through? Maybe you can share some cases. That would be interesting to hear. Like maybe sellers like listening right now, like interesting, but maybe you can share a case study, sort of like maybe for smaller sellers or maybe for big sellers, because we have sellers that are 6-figure watching, 5-figure, maybe those who haven't started yet, and there's bigger sellers watching, 7-8-figure sellers, maybe some 9-figure sellers, I don't know even. But maybe they're like, okay, but have you helped like bigger sellers or smaller sellers? And if you can share some results that you remember, that would be interesting, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So just recently we did a free audit for a seller. They were around the $30 million range, and they were already using 3 auditors, including doing their own like in-house process. And we were able to find over $1 million for them. We were also able to find a lot of cases of mismanagement. So just like spamming Amazon repeatedly, not really engaging with their requests. Amazon is a company that needs to be spoken with. So like sometimes Amazon will like, be like, hey, we'd like to resolve this over the phone with you or whatever. And you're not supposed to just answer that with just like, give me my money back. Give me my money back. You know what I mean? That's a good way to get your cases deadlocked, and that's how you can end up with such a large amount that's just like unclaimed, because these cases just get gridlocked. I've seen cases where Amazon says, hey, like our policies prohibit things that would interfere with our ability to help other sellers, so we're not going to answer this anymore. And then, an auditor from one of the legacy companies just continues to just be like following up, like, let's get this resolved, for like 3 years with no results. So smart case management is a huge piece of this. We put a lot of work into actually speaking with Amazon, interacting with their people, and understanding the difference between a case that's deadlocked and you need to kind of escalate via a phone call or chat, and a case where an Amazon rep is just confused, because they get confused a lot, probably more than often than they're not confused. Yeah, that's a piece. So yeah, like, finding a lot of money left behind there. Really the thing that's been lacking is just this professional human touch to things, because the status quo for so long has been to just like offshore all that case management to like people paid like rock bottom amounts, whereas we have a small team of in-house auditors that are really thinking while they're working and engaging with Amazon. So yeah, that's a big piece from a big seller. From a small seller perspective, I had someone ask me just the other day, like, do you handle all cases, or do you kind of like only go after like the big dollar values? Because that's another thing that we see, like when accounts come on, it's like suspiciously all the 10 grand cases are like already raised, and then there's like, it's like a dozen like $12 cases or whatever, but all of those cases add up. So yeah, we do go after all cases, no matter how small they are. Like one person said like, oh, like, are you sure like my account will be profitable enough for you guys or whatever? I was like, we've got clients that sell seed packets, multiple clients that sell seed packets, and they're like $5 a unit. So when we win that case after fighting aggressively to like get it back, like we get 50 cents, and that's okay, because like These sellers, they are part of our reputation. Like, they can refer other sellers that might, make a little bit more sense. And all of those small claims, like they add up. That seed seller, for example, we get them back about $20,000 a month, but it's across thousands of $5 shipments. I mean, would I prefer if it was one 20,000 case? Of course I would. But
I understand.
Yeah, we go after it all. And it's another thing that differentiates us. I was talking with the seller that they only do like about 100K a year, but it turns out that they were just testing us out. And now they're going to onboard like their 70 other accounts, which will be worth like probably over 100 million. So we treat all sellers like that's the case, and it works out well for us, because word of mouth is really our primary way of growing. With 10% commissions, we don't have this like massive number to go to like sponsor a yacht tour or just like blow like hundreds of $1,000s on the best influencers. It's all the savings are passed directly to the seller. And so we need to give excellent service to every single seller so that they talk about us. And so far it's been working really well. I think over 50% of our growth has been just from word of mouth affiliates. So yeah, we're just going to keep going down that road.
It's good, man. Thank you for sharing the case studies and your values in a way, and also your spirit of the company. I think it's good, man. Helping
Thank you.
any size of seller. Yeah, today it's a 100K a year seller, which is already pretty good in my opinion. Next 3 years they blow up, maybe 10x, and maybe they invite 3 more friends, or something like that. So I understand that's a smart way to do things. I mean, just truly helping every client, no matter if it's even harder, like as you mentioned with the seeds, like maybe cheaper products, although they do volume, but still, like it's, I guess from your side, there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
But then again, with this flywheel of eventually more referrals and everything, that does definitely make sense for a healthy business and all that. So pretty awesome. Well, cool. We're going to have the best offer for TrueOps in the description again for our viewers. Now, I asked you something, but I just dropped in another question about the case studies, but something else maybe I should have asked you and have not. Maybe you would like to share something more about TrueOps, or, something else you would recommend for sellers as with reimbursements. Yeah, feel free, man, because why not?
Yeah, I think that like it always makes sense to get a second opinion, whether like, because I've had examples of people that are just like, yeah, like I've got the best VA in the world, and like I'm just gonna trust them with everything, and then they sign up with us for a free audit, which just takes 3 minutes, right? Like it's not really that long to get assurance. And maybe you do that 3 minutes and you find out that everything's running perfectly. That's great. You know that you're good. With the October 23rd deadline, which may have already passed by the time you're watching this video, things are expiring all the time, right? So like it's important to make sure this area is covered. We have been working with an account just over the last month, and the owner is just like, yeah, like my VA has everything. We're doing it in-house. They do a free audit, $120,000 just in missed shipments. Like it's one thing to raise a case for every opportunity, but are you making sure that when Amazon reimburses you, that they're reimbursing the correct value for your units, or they're reimbursing all of your units, and like you might raise a case and then Amazon's like, oh, like, these 10 units are actually allocated from another shipment, right? And unless you're critically evaluating every single response from Amazon, you're not going to catch that like, oh, this has literally happened, by the way. Those 10 units came from a shipment a year ago, so they're saying you lost 10 units today, but like, oh, a year ago there was an overage, of 10 units. So like, that's where those units came from, right? No, you know what I mean? So it is physically, I've come to the conclusion that it's physically impossible for a human to like actually respond to Amazon on time within 5 days every time, right? And then also review all of the reimbursements that you're getting back across all the categories, and making sure that Amazon's not like, giving you a wrong resolution. So it's nothing against these in-house teams. I think that, at a certain size, like if you've got the spare capacity, like it makes sense to try to do a first pass on all of these, but it doesn't make sense to operate without a second opinion on your in-house team, and a second opinion on your external auditor, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong there too. Like, maybe they're not giving you credit for all of your reversals. Maybe they're going after claims that Amazon was going to go after anyway. Maybe they are doing case management like a crazy person and, they're getting deadlocked with Amazon, potentially putting your account at risk. Like, these are things that are really impossible to know until you have a professional look over the account. Yeah, in this space, I think that we are the first ones to really treat this area with the level of due care that it deserves. Like, I'm a CPA. I come from kind of like the audit industry where, like, we take things very seriously and professionally. The idea that you can just take 1 to 2% of your revenue and trust it with a bunch of people overseas and hope that it works out is just not a good model anymore. I think it's worth doing right.
In TrueOps, again, if I understand correctly, if you may share the amount of team you have, is this open public information just for people to understand? And if not, it's okay as well.
Yeah. I think between our part-time and full-time staff, we have about 27 people right now. And we're audited. And a lot of those are developers that help us like build out the software. But yeah, that's to serve a client list of over 3.6 billion. So to do it the old way, like, we'd probably have to have hundreds of auditors by now. We don't automate claims. So like, every claim is human initiated, but there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes that can be streamlined by technology. If Amazon sends you a response, like, what do you say back? The software can help surface what to say, and make it easier for the auditor to maintain an excellent level of service, because the technology enables that. Like, one thing that I've seen from other providers is, like, if you have a good account manager, the account's going to be pretty clean. If you have a bad account manager, it's not going to be very clean. So we build in all of this business intelligence into the app so that everyone can be as good as the best auditor, because we're baking those best practices in. So, like, should you escalate this case via phone call right now or not? Like, we're not going to be relying on an individual's experience. We're going to take the best practices across our 1,600 client list and apply it, to the whole list. And so that's why, like, our customer support is extremely vigilant for any opportunities. Like, if a small seller is like, hey, like, I think Amazon like did this on my account, maybe they accidentally labeled a product as expired, even though it's not a perishable good. It's like, oh, like, that's another area that Amazon can screw you over. Let's bake that into our whole audit process and now save money for the whole list of people. Yeah, that's kind of the way we do things.
Nice, man. Thank you for sharing. It made clear a few things for me, like in terms of how it works, because you have a lot of clients and you still work by the rules of Amazon. And I think that's
right.
You have to manually, as I mentioned, like to submit those cases, right? But then once the response goes back, you have all the collective kind of knowledge of all the people which is over 3 billion in revenue on Amazon. All this is, I don't know how, but it was through your technology is interconnected, and you can see that there's different things that appear maybe for this category or this type of seller, and then you make conclusions with the help of technology. And then for newer sellers that join, you have more and more data to help them have a clear reimbursement process and to reimburse the maximum for them, let's say it. So yeah, interesting, man. Thank you for sharing that. That makes sense.
Yeah, and we are in lockstep with Amazon. Like, we are Amazon approved app on the App Store. So it's not like we're running around like Robinhood or whatever, breaking the terms of service and like getting money from Amazon incorrectly. We have calls with Amazon on a weekly basis to perfect all of our processes and the way that we're raising cases. Any document that you upload into TrueOps is going to be validated by our team. Like, if you upload an invoice, like, okay, here's a great example, right? Proof of delivery, right? My favorite proof of delivery that we've gotten so far is a picture of a truck. And the hilarious thing is, like, it was a picture of an Amazon delivery truck, and they didn't even send it via Amazon. It was via FedEx. You know what I mean? So it's like that's not a proof of delivery, and we're not going to be sending that to Amazon. Especially if you are using a VA, it can be a good kind of like added peace of mind benefit that, like, if they decide that a picture of a truck is a good proof of delivery, like, we're going to send it back and just be like, hey, like, this is not a proof of delivery. This is what an actual proof of delivery is. And that is protecting your account health. People might not necessarily like take it that seriously, but yeah, like, Amazon's terms of service require that before you submit anything, it's thoroughly researched and it's according to their policies. So if you're just submitting cases left and right, like you're sending screenshots of Seller Central, you're sending pictures of trucks or whatever, you're going to get account health warnings, policy warnings. They're going to throttle your account so that you don't get as good service when you're trying to do reimbursements. So yeah, we take it really seriously and validate every document before it goes out. It takes a lot of time to do it that way, but ultimately we're only successful if our clients are successful.
Yeah, pretty cool. Thanks for sharing, man, those insights and thoughts of yours. Thank you. Yeah, for our viewers, listeners, again, we have the offer for TrueOps, $1,000 in free reimbursements plus a free audit linked in the description. Enjoy it. Check it out. As Joe mentioned, maybe you have some money that Amazon owes you. So there were different cases we talked about today, even as big as on a bigger account, of course, like about $1 million, and even smaller cases and an ongoing basis. Basically, the guys can help you monitor your account, and even on $20 maybe missing units, you'll get back $20. So then I guess 10% of $20, you only give $2 to TrueOps for their work, which is fair, I think, and you can keep the 18. Yep. If someone likes, enjoying a cup of coffee or something somewhere outside, you can get a few of those. Or again, just put it back into your business to buy extra units. You know what I mean? It depends on or mix both of them, mix work with pleasure and, put some back and enjoy your favorite drink or something. And of course, on $1 million reimbursement, that's a different story.
It's a lot of coffee.
Yeah. That's so you can. Yeah, definitely. That's a lot of. It's a lifetime supply of coffee for probably for the whole family. So or the next generations. But yeah, man. So well, thank you. And unless there's anything else you want to add, man, we'll wrap up this video. We're gonna have everything in the description. The best offer, the website of TrueOps. Yeah, I guess that would be it.
Yeah, no, that's great. I just close with saying, like, the amount that you can expect back, it changes wildly. Like, maybe like an average would be like 0.5%, maybe like to 3%. But like we have had clients that are like 25% of their revenue is recoverable refunds. So it's based on mistakes, right? So it's definitely a good idea to double check.
Yeah, and especially with the 23rd of October, when instead of 18 months, basically for those maybe who are still here, hopefully, thank you for being here. But I would appreciate a like on the video if you're enjoying, and dislike if you're not. Let us know why as well. It'd be much appreciated. But basically, for now, let's say you do a free audit. Guys can go back 18 months and they can help you recover money if any discrepancy happened within the 18 months. After the 23rd of October, this will change to 2 months. That's drastic because maybe there's like, who knows how much? Maybe it's a few bucks, maybe it's tens of, even hundreds of thousands of dollars laying there. And after 23rd of October, I'll do my best to put this video as soon as possible for sellers in the next few days. But yeah, if you're watching after the 23rd, still take action, of course, because all the time you can get reimbursements, but now it's like good time to take action for sure. Because
a good chunk of the reimbursements, the window is shrinking. It brings something else to mind, like something unique about TrueOps is we can actually go all the way back to when you initiated your account for some claim types. So like,
interesting.
Yeah, I was talking with one seller and just like, yeah, like we've got it handled in-house pretty good. And I'm just like, okay, but like, have you had it handled perfectly for 10 years? Good thing to check. You know what I mean?
So some claims this is something new to me, to be honest. Like there are some claims that can be gotten from, because we opened our account in 2016, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe there are types of claims that are still claimable even today.
That's right.
Yep. Wow, interesting. Very interesting, man. I had a question in mind now, and Vendor Central. Do you handle Vendor Central accounts also?
Yes, we do. We are launching it with the pricing of 5%. That's our launch pricing. Just as we fine tune the process, we don't have this like a beautiful dashboard or onboarding right now, but we do have the best auditors in the industry perfecting our processes, and we're already serving a good amount of Vendor Central accounts. Okay. So yeah, we expect the product to mature at a similar rate and have a dashboard and all that soon. But yeah, we definitely serve Vendor Central, and I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air for the industry over there as well, because the prices have been extremely high. Policies have not been very seller friendly. Like they don't recognize reversals. They don't allow you to have delays or do a combined like in-house external process. So we're just going to come in with the same seller friendly policies, the same like really good rates. Yeah, looking forward to helping a lot of 1P sellers as well as we build out that service. And if anyone's interested in being a part of that, yeah, 5% launch pricing.
Pretty good offer, man. Yeah. Does this work with the link also that we have, like, or is like a bit different? Because onboarding, maybe it's a bit more by email, or is it the same onboarding process for 1P or VS 3P seller?
Yeah, it's gonna be just email based onboarding. So if you're a 1P seller, just click contact us, put in your name, your estimated revenue-ish, and reach out there. And then we'll get you onboarded. It should still be a very quick process because with Vendor Central, the permissions are a little bit easier. So we just give you the email to add permissions, and then you're in the system. If you're interested in 1P service, that'd be the route to go.
Yeah, we'll mention that in the description as well. Yeah, I guess near the main link to for those who are third-party sellers. And yeah, I guess if you as a first 1P seller watching this video and you mention my name, Vova Evan, that will help understand that that this video kind of did some impact. And yeah, if you're gonna work with the guys, I'm gonna get a little commission, which I appreciate. Like I don't charge for these videos, we just do it all for free. We're glad to connect companies to sellers and give the best solutions, hopefully. So yeah, I would appreciate if you do that. Yeah, I'm glad to see growth of people. It's interesting to observe, and I learn a lot, man. I learned a lot in this video, man. So thank you a lot for educating us as a community of sellers here, but also myself as a seller. I didn't know you can go back. I thought it's like a few years, that 18 months was really in my mind as like the oldest, I think, that we could go, but that's only in one type of claims, right? So that's interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, all the links are in the description. Joel, man, thank you a lot. That was interesting. Have a good day and hope your company grows, man, and you do well.
Great. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, sir.